Now, today is a celebration. The last big get-together we had with a lot of people in this room reminded me that we don't do this often enough, and it's a joy to be able to bring everyone together under happier circumstances. If I think I'm struggling with my dad being 70, not only does he have to get his head around that, but also he has a son who's about to turn 44 in January, so deal with that, old man.
I don't believe that. Doesn't look, does it? No, Dave looks amazing.
Throughout my childhood, and I'm sorry to say much of my adult life, Dad has been my rescuer, helping me out of the many scrapes he advised me not to get into in the first place. In the past 3 or 4 years, our relationship has changed as I finally started to mature and settle down. We're not only closer as father and son, but I also count my dad amongst my friends. And it's a joy to be able to share my life with him and know how thrilled he is for me in my own increasing old age. In my increasing old age, I've realised the importance of making time for family and really value the time I've been able to spend with my old man recently. Anyway, without further ado, in honour of this momentous occasion, we gather to say happy 70th birthday to my dad, Chris.
Yeah! Woo!
Christopher Douglas Betts was born on the 12th of December 1949 to Douglas and Betty Betts. Just for some perspective, for those of you who aren't old enough to know when that was, this was also the year that the photocopier was invented, the 45 RPM record, and Lego went on sale for the first time, just to give you an idea. So in honour of that, we thought we'd give you your own special little Lego man. It's made just for you. Yeah. Again, same age. Also, going back to 1949, of course, the Earth was still warm, so there's that. I know Dad won't want a massive fuss made of him, but you're only 71, so rather than us spending hours in speeches, I've asked just a couple of people to speak. So on behalf of the family, if you would please welcome up here Dad's youngest brother, Dave.
Yeah! Come on, Dave! Come on, mate!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching at home. I've been asked to say a few words about Chris. I did some really nice notes, but the kids have used all the ink in the printer, so half of it's handwritten. Anyway, without dwelling too much on the dark and distant past, some of you may or may not know Chris's origins. He was born into a tough environment, Chris. We all know him as this lovely sort of cuddly, friendly bloke, but he came up quite tough. As a young kid, he endured a lot of difficult situations and emigrated to Canada as a small boy and was subject to all the kind of sort of racist sort of bullying that you would expect. You know, he was this little limey kid with a funny accent, and he had to learn pretty early on to use his fists to make his point, which is sad but true. And in later life, without trying to dwell too much on this sort of thing, as he got older, he was forced into the role of protector, really, because our old man, our dad, wasn't really equipped to be much of a father to him. So that threw up lots of challenges for Chris. And he learned to stand up for himself and for what he believed in at a very early age, and that's been a hallmark of his character really ever since. So that's the serious bit out of the way. He was a tough customer and you didn't really want to get on the wrong side of him when he was a young'un. Some of you might not know that, but it's true. So yeah, he's not just cuddly and friendly and lovely and all the rest of it. You get on the wrong side of him, he'll give you a right slap. Anyway, moving on to the 1960s and 70s, Chris discovered his musical talents, really. He started to play drums in bands. He was a good drummer. He's still a pretty good drummer now. And at some point, he was persuaded to come out from behind the kit and sing and front his own bands, which he did with real success. And he started to write his own music and his own songs. Now, I have to say, without blowing his trumpet too much, he is a very, very gifted songwriter. It's a difficult thing to do, to write a really good lyric.
Yeah.
but Chris can do that with a real sensitivity and strength, which is quite amazing, really.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyone who's involved in creative arts will know that it's not necessarily the case that talent gets recognition. And in my opinion, Chris could write songs for some of the biggest, stars in the game, really. But it's just never happened. But if you haven't done up to now, it's worth listening to some of his songs and their lyrics, because they're really, really very, very good indeed. Now, I got the music bug from Chris, and I started playing drums as a kid on ice cream tubs, cardboard boxes, anything I could get my hands on, really. But at one point, when I was sick of the ice cream tubs, Chris came home and gave me my very first real drum, which was a Carlton piccolo snare drum with no bottom head and no snares. But it wasn't, hang on, it was a proper drum. Come on. So I had some sticks and I had my first proper drum, and that inspired me and encouraged me a lot. And Chris has always inspired and encouraged me with regard to music. And I went on to, become a capable drummer, and he was very encouraging at all that. And fortunately, as a result of that, I've had a sort of half of my career in music, really. Am I going on too long with all this? So anyway, he got me my first drum, so big kudos to Chris. Thank you very much, bruv. Then he met the love of his life, Kathy, and embarked on married life. And he went, I mentioned his tough background. He did some crap jobs, Chris, over the years to pay the bills. I mean, honest to God, they were rough jobs. He worked as a security guard at a power station just to pay the bills. He was in the mental nursing game, the mental health service, for years, doing all sorts of tough jobs. And I take my hat off to him for that, because his work ethic is second to none. He's really grafted to pay the bills and keep things together. Now, Chris's houses over the years have all been the same. He's always lived in the countryside. They've always had thick walls, small windows, and thick curtains. That's what he likes. So he'll move into a place like the place he had in Wootton Under Edge was like that. He moved up to Oswestry. His house up there was like that. And now he lives here in Blackford. His house is like that. But you'll go in there, and on a summer's day, you'll go in, and he'll say, "The door's open, mate." So you go in. It's dark. So you go in, and Chris, are you there, mate? And he comes out of the kitchen in his shades. "Oh, Dave, you all right, man? Come on in. I just put the kettle on." So he either looks after him really, really well, or he's got about 3,000 pairs of those mirror shades. Wherever he goes, Chris creates real friendships with people. And I don't mean sort of acquaintances, but long-lasting, lifelong friendships. And today is testament to that, really. Which brings me to another little story about Chris that involves Nick, one of his oldest mates. And I'll try and keep this short because I know I am waffling a bit. But I was invited over to Nick's place to record some drums because Chris was doing an album of his songs. So I arranged to meet Chris at the crack of dawn because we needed an early start, which, as you know, for Chris is about 11:30, 12. So we got there about midday and knocked on Nick's door, rang the doorbell, nothing. But I could hear in the background some music. So I thought, well, he's at it already. I went round the back of Nick's place, and Nick's back room was converted into a studio with like French doors, so you could look in and see what was going on. So I looked in and I'm banging on the window. "Chris, I'm here, I've got my drums." And he's in the middle of a vocal take. And he stood there, he's got his jogging shorts on, he's got his undies on, a bathrobe, white leather loafers, and his mirror shades. It's an enduring image, isn't it? I've been in therapy for 12 months to try and get it out of my mind. So I'm banging on the window. Chris, I've brought my drums, and he's got his headphones on, his shades, and his garb that I told you about. And I can remember the song he's recording. Burning gasoline, chasing long white lines down a long black river road. He's rocking it out, and I'm banging on the window. Chris, Chris, I've got my drums here, mate. He says, he's rocking out. He said, oh man, I don't think that's right. So he goes back over to the desk, stops the tape, winds it back, walks back, and I'm banging on the window still, but he's got his headphones on and his sunglasses, so he can't hear me, he can't see me. So he goes back to, oh, rocking out again. I was out there 20 minutes before I finally got his attention, and he let me in. And he said, oh, Davo, I was just in the middle of a tape, man. Put the kettle on. And off he went to carry on singing. Anyway, all that waffle brings me to the final bit, which, you know, is just from the heart, really. As a family, we're very proud of him. He's been not just a great big brother to me, but a father figure, really, as well. He's influenced me a lot. And, yeah, I just want to say we're all proud of him. I'm proud to call him my brother. And finally, I just want to just point out, really, the dignity and courage with which both Chris and David have faced the loss of dear Kath. I think they've been amazing. And here's to Chris. We love you, bruv.
Forever, didn't it?
Put the kettle on, mate.
So, chapter 2. While we're doing speeches, we've got your attention, got you all in one place. If I could ask Nick to come and speak on behalf of Dad's circle of friends, please give Nick a warm hand. I try speaking to Dave Sutley. If you can just wrap it up in, just a few minutes.
Just wiping a tear away. It's a great honour and privilege to be asked to speak a few words today here about someone I love, respect and admire. But more about me later on. I also want to say what a shame it was that the Chris Betts fan club minibus was routed to the wrong destination. We didn't have a chance to mingle with them, but I can assure all you people here, Chris and the band, go and see them in their secure location a couple of times a year. And as for his fans, well, I hope they both get better soon. Some of the things I wanted to say have obviously been said already, but I just want to give you a little picture of the mark of the kind of man I've known for nearly 50 years, man and boy. It's been a wonderful friendship. I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's been a challenge sometimes, but I wouldn't have done without it. I once asked him why he joined the RAF. And you know what he said to me? This is a sign of his courage and commitment. He said, I wanted to fight communism. I wanted to fight bureaucracy and the ink and alcohol-free beers. that kind of courage and commitment I really warmed to in those days. And often at night we'd go down to the local Stoat and Weasel, and he'd be dressed in his full RAF kit with a couple of second-hand badges from Waterloo to Wall Street. And of course this brings us to one of the things that really attracted me to him in the first place, this amazing ability to impersonate. And he would sit there and regale the young ladies with stories of daring do from the RAF, Wilco, squadron leader, bandits at 12 o'clock, lying by the seat of my pants, and every one of the 6 bullet holes he had in his vest and an individual story attached to it. And as to the scorch marks on his trousers, that was close contact with a V2 rocket. So I admired this man's ability to hold a crowd. And then one day he came home to me, he said, "Nick," he said, "I'm fed up with killing people." And I said, "I can't remember you killing anybody." And then I remembered his driving. I said, "What are you going to do now?" And he said, "I'm going to change the world." And I thought, it's been a week since he's changed his underpants. And then he said to me, he said, "I'm going to be a nurse." I was shocked. "I'm going to look after the aged and bewildered." I was staggered. Did you know something? This is Chris's commitment and compassion. Don't forget the compassion. 2 weeks later, he came back, prodded me in the chest, said, "Look at that." It was a certificate from the Kazakhstan Nursing School for American Studies. He was there already. 2 weeks. He said, 2 weeks, I told you. He said, 2 weeks ago I couldn't spell nurse and now I are one. What used to worry my brother and I was that even before he got a job, he used to wear the uniform around the house. The little blue skirt, the little white pinafore. And on the back, he had written in black letters, "Sisters of Mercy." Marton, which I think was a poor spelling for a nursing rank. But anyway, I had to go and see him in action because he said, "I've already got the tools of my trade." And he said, "I love it, helping them nutters." I said, "You can't speak like that. The mentally challenged, Chris, please." But one day I went down to see him and I entered this place. It had a funny name. It was called a colony, can you believe, in those days. And I tell you what, it scared me. There were people shouting and screaming, clawing at the windows, barking like dogs, walking around naked. I tell you what, it's like the happy hour down at the Irish Club. And when I eventually got onto his ward, pitch dark, just as Dave said it would be, pitch dark, I was looking for him, I wanted to see him in action. And suddenly this figure came out of nowhere, bang, on the chest. I realised it was Chris in his full regalia, with his nursing equipment in one hand. In one hand, it was his favourite instrument, a small light truncheon, and in the other, a large hypodermic. I'll tell you what, I had the best night's sleep I've ever had. In fact, I didn't wake up for a week. There you are, ladies and gentlemen, that gives you a picture. Just 2 or 3 of the facets of this man that I have known for nearly 50 years. I could tell you about a meeting, but that's going to go on too long. So I would like to say it is truly an honour to speak about someone I really do love, admire and respect. Christopher, thank you.
I want you at my 70th. Another 10 years.
Thank you, Nick. And my dad has explored several career paths during his illustrious history, including husband, parent, nurse, musician, security guard, loft insulator, surveyor, biker, guitar teacher, author, rescuer, and his current role of aging rock star. Joking aside, it's an honour to call this man my father, and when we realised, Hannah and I, such a milestone was upon us, we couldn't resist the opportunity to put this event together and take some time to celebrate with as many of the people as Dad's loves as we could get together. Obviously, not everyone can be here. Jean, Chris, Nick and the families Gill send their love. Keith and Joyce Barrow, Sarah Wilcox, Paul and Meg Brazier, and many others couldn't make it, or had something better to do. In summary, we haven't arranged bands or invited everyone to give speeches because some of you have travelled many miles to see the man himself, and we want to make sure that everybody gets the chance to speak to him. We knew as soon as we stick a band on the stage and a few mics out there, nobody will get to speak to each other. It'll just become another gig. And we wanted to make sure that if you put in the effort to come all this way, that you actually got a chance to speak to each other. So we'll wrap up with a final cheer. If you could please raise your glass, and we'll say, Happy 70th to my dad, Chris Bence. Now, as you can see, not only have we had a fantastic spread, by the way, my mother-in-law Joy and my wife Hannah have put the food together today. If you would please do it as well. It is amazing what you can do with a bargain bucket of pedigree chump, isn't it? It really is. Really, really appreciate that. Also, as you'll notice, there's a beautiful cake up at the front. If any of the ladies, or any of the gents for that matter, want to take a picture of it, do so now because it's about to get destroyed. This was put together by Dad's sister, Sue. She asked, what cake should I make? What cake does your dad like? I said, my dad doesn't really do cake. It's just occurred to me now. For my dad, rock cake. That's what we should have gone with. Shut up! I missed it. Yeah, really could have done. If you'd like to do the honours, we're all waiting to try it. So, shall we light the sparklers? Shall I do the honours? Do you want to come on? The lighter flamethrower is round the back. Ah, there it is. Okay, the light's up here. I don't think you can blow it out, but we can give a big round of applause as the sparklers go off. And another round of applause when the fire system goes off. As soon as it lights, come on, you know you want to. Anytime today's good. And now he's 71.
Yay!
It has to be done even at 70. Are you ready? Happy birthday
To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chris. Happy birthday to you.
We're going to take it out, cut it out.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll cut it out the back and then we'll hand it around so everybody can have any. So, we will get that cut up and distributed so you can all have a bit. I'm not going to put pressure on you, but if you'd like to say a few words to your guests, now would be the time. Would you like to say a few words? Well, I'm not going to, they might, I don't know. That does.
For God's sake, don't sing, will you?
Promise, I promise.
Well, I don't know what the standard reaction to this is with other people. Well, like I said, I'm totally overwhelmed. Have been for the last couple of hours. And very, very grateful that some of you have travelled a long way. I'm very grateful that you showed up. It's been pretty amazing touching base with some of you guys after a long time. And I just want to thank you all very, very much. The only caveat I would say is discount Hodges' speech altogether. He hasn't lost his knack, has he?
I've seen you in that nursery.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, when I was working for this Christian charity as an officer in charge of care, and I was constantly getting mail addressed to matron. So to say it's a female-dominated, you've been in it too, Nina, haven't you? Yeah, it's very much a female domain. But there are perks. I mean, my buddy Mike and I were, as part of our RNMH course, we had to do a little stint in General Hospital, and we pulled French aid. the old French A hospital, and I've got to say that was the easiest part of the entire training, because you know, when you when you went on the ward, two guys in the middle of all this, you know, I don't think we ever made a cup of tea in our entire stay. So they really did pamper us.
God, they're sexist, that is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If I was a lady, I'd say that's not acceptable, man. This is a patriarchy, a matriarchy. But anyway, just thanks ever so much to all of you for making the effort. It's been a genuine surprise. I mean,
Gotcha!
yeah, he had me right up to walking through that door. Come on, we'll go to the record fair. Now I know why he said that. Yeah. But thanks a lot, and there's very dear friends here, looking around the room. Fantastic. And when you think of again, I'm 70, so I guess when you look at the years that have gone by, I mean, how long have we known each other? Yeah. Yeah, it just doesn't compute. And as my friend John Huntley said, because obviously they lived in a different part of the country, but I remember John saying when we got together, you know, something to the effect that if you're really mates, you just pick up where you left off. And you know what? That's true. It really is. So thank you once again. Amazing bunch of people. I'm very grateful and a bit overawed. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Chris. Thank you. It's all right, darling.